Well, 2 weeks ago, we were discussing direct marketing, and Jane led the discussion. And we're going to continue that on and take it kind of to another level, basically. We all want referrals, and repeat referrals would even be better. So 2 weeks ago, she showed us some direct mail postcards, and on those, she did like a lot of personalization with people's first names or something. And I don't know if you guys, I stand over my trash can, and I do toss the mail before I head into the house. But if your name's on something, you're gonna pause at least, and 9 times out of 10, you're at least gonna take it in. You don't look at it because your name is on it. It's one of the most important things people like to do. They like to hear their name. They like to see their name. So, are you willing to admit? No, you don't. You kind of hang on to something if you. I
am.
You see your name. So assuming all's gone well, then we've used our targeted list from Jane or something, and your customers reached out and everything, or maybe with Mike's magazine, the Hamilton County, where we are, most of us are represented in there. So you've done some advertising. If you flip your agendas over, you have got some handy-dandy slides that Blake was so kind to produce for me. So if you look at the first slide, sales statistics, professional people, like all of us, 48% never follow up with a client, which is really scary. 25% make a second contact and then they stop. 12% make a third contact and then they stop. And 10%, only 10% of us are making 3 or more contacts. So what does that turn into? Success reality, only 2% of people will buy or use your service or whatever on the first contact. 3% at the second, 5% at the third contact, 10% at the fourth contact, and this is a really scary number, but 80% between the 5th and 12th contact. So we need to be having multiple touch points and keeping your name out there in front of it. People actually, a lot of it, I think people really want to know that you're going to be in business and that you are going to continue to be there and stay there and stay with them. So it's kind of a scary number. So let's kind of assume none of us are neglectful to the opportunity and we've made that sale for our product or service. Have you ever heard like the saying that it's easier to keep a customer than to go out and get a brand new one? So especially like insurance, it's easier to keep that customer. You've already spent the money, you've already worked on it, and now you've got the customer. You don't want to lose them. So you want to get those referrals, and it's easier to get them from somebody that's already likes you and trusts you and is doing good business with you. We spend our money doing that, and it's much more. You guys agree it's much more cost effective, so spend a little bit to keep those would be better. So part of investigating the ability to reap referrals is also researching why we lose customers. So the next slide is 1% die, 3% move away, 5% follow a friend or associate's advice to do something else, 9% change because they perceive there's a better value someplace else, whether or not it's there, but that's their perception. 14 change just because the product or service dissatisfaction. But all of those things only add up to 32%, leaving 68% behind that leave because they just didn't feel valued or wanted. Has anybody left a service because they didn't feel valued or wanted? I personally have. And it is, people want to feel like their business is appreciated. And it's a big number to, be losing there. So we can't do anything about people that die, or really even about people that move away. I mean, but that's such a small percentage. So, but we can, we want to undo the time that's expanded into research and planning and undermining the hours invested in the relationship. So, our perception of a better value to our business responsibility should be not what we're giving to the client and seeking or offering, but how they wish to buy. Our current climate is that consumers are willing to engage in educated dialogue and express a reasonable and rational concern with the service providers that can lead to an emotional-driven dissatisfaction with a product or service. So the 68%, they leave because they feel undervalued. So if you kind of move on to the decision data, this is how people kind of make their decisions based on what they're going to buy or what service they're going to take. So 15% buy just because of advertising, and we need advertising. That gets our name out there and adds validity to us. But 50% go on existing relationships. Who do they know? Who are they doing business with? 35% on referral. That's 85% of all buyers and people out there are doing this without advertising, basically. Now we need advertising and marketing, that's two different things. So we've always are learning here too in this forum that it's, we need to effectively use a plan and market. We need to market to those 50 plus, 80 up to 85% of people. So and if you look at the last quote, just 20% of our existing forum, if we have 10 members in here, if you just increased it, 2 of our 10, we can increase. So if we dig a little deeper and go on to the next slide on your presentation there, why aren't we giving kind of more referrals, or what are those realities? If you look, professional people really hate having to be in that beggar position. We don't like to, beg for business. You want to just flow into, you don't want to beg. We really don't like to impose on friends and associates and things. You don't want to be like, going to your family, please, please, please buy for me. You don't want to have to memorize somebody else's script. I'm never going to be able to sing Jennifer's song. It's just not going to happen, ever. The embarrassment of getting rejected, because nobody likes rejection. A lot of us do give referrals, but sometimes you kind of feel bad if you don't get any. So you want that give and receive mentality. And for the control people in the room or outside the room, if you are not in control, once you give that referral, if I hand a referral over to Megan, I'm done. I have no control whether she calls them, whether she follows up with them, if she sells them a house, doesn't sell them a house, and if she ever talks to them again after she does sell them a house. So that's a tough thing sometimes to lose that control. And then if you've ever received a referral for a bad customer, it's tough. But then we have to go into kind of what the reality is of referrals. Can we trust the satisfied clients that are being referred to? So why must our giving of referrals be a standard practice? Why do we want that to be a standard practice? And if you look at the last, not the last, but the second to last slide there, recognition, retention, referrals, which is, it's the premise of this discussion and what we really wanted to kind of talk about today. People feel more comfortable when a product or service is recommended by a colleague. When somebody recommends something to you, doesn't it feel like, okay, yeah, I'll at least listen? They are less price sensitive. We like that. You don't want, if it's insurance, whether you have the best or not, if you can create that relationship, and then you create the relationship, they're going to stay with you, even if Joe Smith comes in and says, I got this deal, and I can cut you by 50%. The relationship's there. They're going to stick with you. A quality referral marketing system can also quickly multiply, often connecting you to high-quality customers who are easy to serve and yields a business profit. So appreciated customers come back for more business. The greater the number of authentic touches you have with a client, the more likely your business will stay top of mind. Now, we've all kind of said we're more comfortable taking, if you think about, if I give a referral, and then you call up my referral, and you go, Holly, referred me, that 9 times out of 10, even if you get a voicemail, you are probably going to get a call back, because, this recently happened, with, I got the voicemail, and the guy, I left Blake's name, he recommended me to you, thought I might be of service to you. Ultimately he did call me back. And that, in normal, if I had cold called this guy, never. He would never have called me back. So, we agree that if you get that referral out there, it's 1,000 times easier to get in the door. So you want to get the referrals, and you want to be comfortable giving them. So how do we make the referral process easier for our colleagues? And how do we keep our names top of mind? And so that it's like the first thing. So you're at a cocktail party, and you're like, chatting with somebody, and I know that you just moved in and he needs a realtor. How am I going to be, it should be top of mind. I know somebody that can help you and knows the area really well that you're looking to buy in. Is it okay if I give you her name? Give you vice versa. It's so much easier, and that's what we want. And it'll be, especially, although you lived here before, it's been a while.
Oh, yeah.
So to get you back in, and where's the best schools, and where's the, you know, what is it that's important to you looking for a house, so it would be good to have. I do a lot of personal development, and I read a book from Harvey McKay. He did Swim with the Sharks Without Being Alive, and I love this quote. Little things don't mean a lot, they mean everything. Back in November, and this is actually before I was a member here, but the video, there's some video footage that Blake puts online, and the group talks about writing thank you notes as a valid strategy. And this is really an art to be mastered. I mean, and it's a lost art sometimes. I was raised with writing thank you notes, but we need, you know, it's something that we just need to do. Oprah Winfrey, I don't think she knew her pizza. I know who she is, but she always says, "What I know for sure is that what you give comes back to you." So, you know, you give to give. You don't give with the mentality to receive. But if you just give and you do it with your, you know, your heart, and it will come back to you. If you can send some kind of promotional item, Tony's not here, but he specializes in that, and you know, he specializes in that promotional items. You can send small items. Blake's really good at that. Sending that small item, doing a touch. You know, I got my St. Patrick's Day glasses. So. What I'd kind of like, you know, us to do, we're small and mighty today, but, you know, if we can just maybe, I don't know if we even need to break up because we're mighty and small, but there's some questions on the last part, and I'll sit down. But, you know, we want to like kind of talk about what types of words can be used to express appreciation in a meaningful way. So what, you know, what can we do to really express our appreciation? What kind of things are you doing currently? And then how can you improve? What measurement criteria do you use is whether or not you give a referral. So what are you thinking about when you personally are giving referrals? What's going through your mind? What are you thinking about? And how do we determine whether or not someone might be a hot or cold lead? And should we refer people? So, you know, some things I think as we close this up, and I appreciate your time listening to me, and all the